Hey folks, welcome back to our Vaudreuil-Soulanges real estate market update, where we're going to share with you all the details, the stats of what's going on with the real estate market here in our community. My name is Jonathan Mailhot, and I'm a real estate broker with Team Mailhot of RE in the community, and I'm also your host for this market update. So folks, here's the data. Last month, we had 744 active single-family homes on the market. Inventory was actually down 2% year over year. We also had 175 of those units actually sell last month. Sales are down 11% year over year. Now, the median sales price, that sits at $620,000 for the month of April 2026, and that's down 0.7% year over year. And on average, it takes 46 days to sell a single family home in our community. Now on the condo side of things, 242 active listings last month on the market. That's down 0.8% compared to last year. 46 of those units actually sold, so that's down 20% compared to the sales of the same time frame last year. So big dip in sales this month. Now, $386,000 is the median sales price of a condo in our community, which is down 0.8% year over year. And on average, it takes 68 days to sell a condo in our community. So what does this mean for you? Well, the big lines, these obviously are the big lines. Depending on where you live in our community, whether you're living in Vaudreuil, Pincourt, Perot, Hudson, Saint-Lazare, you're getting my drift, or Saint-Lazare, Les Coteaux, cette, that side of the 20, the market's going to be different. Okay, so if you have questions about a specific market, reach out to us. I'd love to share the details about that market with you. But big lines are that sales are down compared to last year. And we're seeing that out there weekly. Yes, the market can be very good, but in general, there's not much inventory and sales are down. Okay, so that's one thing that we're noticing. Not that properties don't sell, but the amount of properties that sold, especially last month, year over year, it's down. Now, we'll have to keep an eye on that to see, is that a trend coming from all the tariffs, the scares of the wars, the interest rates, inflation, et cetera, et cetera? Are buyers losing confidence in the market or not? Now, I'm not ringing that alarm, folks, but it's a first view. Let's see if it's a tendency or if it was just a blip in the market, okay? Now, on the condo side of things, same thing. Sales are down drastically by 20% for, at least for the month of April. We'll see how that does next month and see again, is it a blip or is it a tendency coming up? So there you go. If you're a buyer in the market, different than if you're a seller, depending on the price point. So let me give you context here. We always talk of, is it a good time to buy or is it a better time to sell, etc. Well, let me give you context. Depending on the price point, it's going to change. Example, if we're looking at a property like a single family home under $500,000, if you can find one, that's definitely a seller's market. We actually have about 1.9 months of inventory. When I say 1.9 months of inventory, what does that jargon mean? That's our absorption rate. So if no more homes listed above $500,000, so if they're all listing under 500, no more listed, it will take us about a month to almost 2 months to sell all the properties that are available. So that's a way for us to gauge of the absorption, how much of the inventory is getting bought up by potential buyers. And that gives us an idea of whether or not we're in a buyer or a seller's market. Or are we in a balanced market where the buyer and the seller doesn't necessarily have the upper hand on each other? You know, they have to collaborate to get to a deal. So under 500,000 single family home, you're most likely strongly in a seller's market. Same thing between 500,000 and 600,000, we're at 2.9 months. So a little bit more inventory, still considered a seller's market. About 35% of those listings sell monthly, okay? Now, between 600,000 and 700,000, again, still at 2.8 months of inventory, seller's market. Where we start to see the switch over, that sweet spot where it becomes a switch from a seller's market to a balanced market, is in and around the $800,000 to $900,000 price point. as soon as we surpass that $800,000 to $900,000, we're now really in a balanced market where people need to collaborate to get the deal done, okay? And to give you some context, for those of you listening, what we quote unquote call luxury properties, but you know, you don't get the same thing that you used to get for $1 million nowadays. So $1 million, we're definitely in a balanced to a buyer's market. And above 1.5, folks, there's 18 months of inventory. Only 6% of homes sell above that price point. Even above $1.25 million, only 12% sell. So on average, there's 10 homes that list, only one of them will sell. That's definitely a buyer's market. If you're a seller in that price point, you've got to put your best foot forward. Make sure your home's well priced, first of all. It's not time to overprice the home and we'll see and we'll adjust. That's not the reality of that market, okay? That market is, the right strategy is to price it correctly with a good marketing plan and also spruce up your home. You know, think of it as a first date with the woman or the man of your dreams. Think of making it as attractive as possible. We're talking about curb appeal, work on the planters, clean the home, freshly paint the home, stage the home. You want to have the best price and best conditions on an offer, make the effort. Now, if I bring you back to buyers purchasing, you know, like their first time home or something more under $700,000, especially let's say in the Vaudreuil area, Vaudreuil-Soulanges, closer to the island of Montreal, you're definitely in a seller's market. Even when we transition to a balanced market, this does not mean that properties are selling $100,000 up below, okay? Even in a buyer's market, you know? So have a good plan, work with a professional who knows the area. That's the utmost importance. You know, I can sell real estate out in Quebec City. I can do it. I've done it in the past, but do I really know that market? You know, I mean, do I know the difference between this street and this street and this neighborhood and this neighborhood? Chances are that agent doesn't, or that real estate broker. So pick somebody local, somebody who's lived or usually transacts in the area, that knows the ins and outs, the school districts, etc. Those are all details that are really important as a buyer to know, okay? They'll help you secure the best price and the best conditions. And keep this in mind, folks. If you're a buyer, the best price might be getting the property, okay? In certain price points, it's about making concessions on the house to get location. Now, if the house is more important, then you may want to go more west and you'll get a lot more house for the same price, or even Valleyfield, where you'll get a lot more property. But if you want location, you may have to sacrifice certain details about the home. Maybe it doesn't have the perfect kitchen. Kitchens can be changed. Location cannot. So there you have it, folks. That's some of the details of the market. We're starting to see changes in the market, less sales. It's been a couple of months now that we're seeing less sales. We're going to see if it's a continuation and a trend, or if it's just a blip. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a trend? Is the market going down? Is our prices crashing? Or are prices going to be stabilized? Or are they going to come up? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Leave a comment below or reach out to us directly. If you found any value in this market update, I'd love for you to smash that like button, but especially consider subscribing to our channel where we share details of the real estate market here in our community. There you have it, folks. Have a fantastic month of May. We'll be back next month to share the details of what's going on right now in our real estate market. Until then, please remember, in this market now more than ever, who you work with, that truly matters.